once you get into the multi 7-figure range, you need to have this higher level of perceived power. Like you have a framework, you have software, you have something beyond these other agencies, which creates lock-in and all kinds of good things. Oh, there you are. It was fast.
How are you?
Good, good.
Yeah, I had Facebook open. I was chatting with a client about some questions they had. So,
all right.
But awesome. It's great meeting you. I've seen you enough times in the 7FA group and different things that I feel like I know you a little bit.
I'm here to help, whatever I can do.
Just to kind of start our conversation, I know this will probably be the short part of this, but obviously as you have more clients and more websites and stuff, like creating some sort of like a KPI dashboard where it's easy to spot issues, traffic issues, conversion issues, stuff like that is something I've struggled with, like picturing it in my head, what it looks like and what metrics are part of that. So that way our SEO lead and team we don't have to spend time doing a 3-hour audit to uncover stuff. It's like 15 minutes every month we go through these accounts, like let's focus on this one, because they're obviously struggling.
I have 2 things to say about that, which I think you'll appreciate, that makes things super simple. One is that when clients are happy, they don't ask questions and you don't have to put a lot of time against it, right?
Ain't that the truth?
So it's only like if the reporting's good, if the numbers are going up, if they believe the business is doing better, whether or not say clients will, as you know, they will attribute, if they like you, they'll attribute increases in their business to SEO, PPC, whatever it is and it may or may not have anything to do with that. They had more referrals, their GMB's ranking better, whatever. Obviously, number one is if the client is happy because of perceived results and or actual, but oftentimes clients could have actual results, but they don't perceive that there's happiness. But as long as there's you are delivering the results and there's a perception that it's there, then there's very little for account managers or for the SEO team to have to do. And that's as long as you keep, all the clients green, if you use a stoplight system, then you've avoided problems before they occur. That's number one.
We're next week, Monday, we hired a director level for CX to get started right around 250 MRR. So it was time for us to start departmentalizing. Lynn Askin's coming in next Tuesday for starting EOS.
Okay, yeah, I love Lynn.
Yeah, he's great, and so we're excited to start that process as well, because we've had my ops manager, my wife, and myself, this 3-headed monster. We're always involved in everything together.
Yeah,
not splitting things up. So you focus here. This is your goals. I focus here. You focus here, and then the director of CX obviously will focus on our CSM account management team.
Well, good. Congrats. Yeah. Now you're 3
I'm
mil.
glad we're there because she accepted a month ago and she wanted to take a vacation and then obviously give her notice to the company she was at. So I'm excited it's here. I'm excited the EOS thing is here. I just want to get to
yeah, that's great. Great.
Because we had a client that he was a terrible communicator the whole 18 months he was with us, never answered anything really. So I wasn't surprised he left, but he left and we didn't really know anything. And I just can't, moving forward, there's got to be a better system. If he's not reaching out, we got to have a system. So we're working on all
But you're sending out reports every month or whatnot anyway, right? Showing that there's improvement.
Yeah, we are. And then of course the CSM's reaching out, trying to schedule a meeting to go over anything or see how everything's going. But we have to have a escalation system if client's unresponsive.
Yeah, lack of communication usually means that they're not happy or something bad is happening.
Or they just don't care. There's like Josh says, a perceived indifference.
Yeah.
Be there on their side or ours.
But you were talking to the business owner instead of their number 2?
It depends on the size of the business.
The bigger businesses, we always have a backup. There's going to be a CMO, a COO, some other, the bigger the business is, the less likely you're going to get time with the owner, figurehead guy.
Yeah. And that's something we had a client who we got him set up on LSA. They absolutely crushed it their first month. And we tried to reach out because they were missing calls and stuff. And we have a weekly report where we're hey, you missed this many calls. We're trying to alert you type thing because it's important for the algorithm. And he was on vacation and he got mad because of how much he spent last month. We reached out. we
they make it, it's always the agency's fault.
Yes, and that is like literally because I come from the contractor side working with homeowners.
Yeah,
they usually had a problem and I could fix it and be fixed.
Yeah,
we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't sometimes, and it's frustrating because I'm like,
nightmare clients. If they pay you enough money, it might be worth it,
Yeah, well, and part of we're realizing that I'm just not the best to deal with clients.
No, that's why you have the head of account management.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're also trying to set up obviously we'll have from a client's like what they tell us perspective, a red light, green light type of thing. But I'm trying to figure out like an internal red light, green light as far as like results. Even if the client doesn't know they're not good, I don't want to come back in like 3 months and them say, hey, yeah, the results really aren't that good. And we could have figured something out previously.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to figure out, like, where's a
yeah. Let me answer your original question.
What things that we should be looking at?
I believe like and my favorite thing is a branded dashboard. And so we've created branded, I've made multi-7 figures just selling dashboards, Nike, Red Bull, like big companies that their analytics budget is 8 figures. So 7 figures for analytics is not, they have a whole analytics team and, they're really sophisticated, lots of systems, like 30 source systems to integrate. But like we talked about with stuff that you can get out of these other canned agency analytics, Report Card, and all these kinds of, Data Studio, Looker, all of these things. If you provide the business owner at a first level, the basic business thing, which means you have to integrate with their CRM and Service Magic and wherever the money is being collected, which is kind of a pain in the butt because the more systems you have, the more integration you have. But then that's the first level on whether the business owner is happy or not. And then the second level, I consider these to be internal or operating level dashboards that we have for our teams and we have for teams at the client, where it's troubleshooting, it's like using Ahrefs or looking at conversion optimizations like Google and that kind of thing. And that's more detailed, day-to-day technical. When we work with larger clients, so if they're $1 billion company, then we treat their team as part of our internal team because they have digital marketing teams, 100 plus people. We need to show competency. It's not like some $2 million a year HVAC company where they can't afford a marketing team. So you're kind of their in-house marketing team and they look at the report and they don't understand. And as long as there's more calls coming in, that's about the extent of their sophistication, or they Google the thing and they rank for such and such near me, which is great. And nothing wrong with that. Right. But I'm happy to show you like how we've set up analytics for like the big boys and for some of the smaller folks. I think is really on the account manager because I have no doubt, provided your operations are solid, it's really just a matter of account management at that point. Because, SEO goes up and down and GMBs get suspended or, whatever ads they work or they don't work or their seasonality or the owner freaks out over some random thing that really is just noise. But I find like 90% of the time it's client management and making sure they understand the numbers.
And there's some feeling on that side. And obviously I try to train them. We train them 3 days a week, but sometimes I don't know if I'm training them on the right stuff.
Let me show you what happens at the things we do at the top level are kind of indicative of what happens. It's like the, Formula One technology eventually makes it into the Honda Civic, right? Let me open up a couple documents and I'm happy to give you.
These TVs that were $10,000 a couple of years ago are like $500 now.
Okay, fine. Well, let me just share this anyway. It's the same. We use the same format everywhere anyway. So whatever. You see this?
Yeah.
So this is something which it's a template. We're automating more and more of it. But with any client at the start, we always start with saying, what's the goals, right? The number of goals. And most clients, they don't even know. Like maybe they know what the last month was or last 90 days, but then we say, okay, great. Well, what's the goal for the rest of the year? And how much are we willing to spend and how much revenue do we want to generate off of that? And then this is great for retention because if we can show like this is where we were before and now we've had these increases, then they have to be happy. And it's not some arbitrary thing where they say, yeah, but you should be driving more business. Yeah, but how much more business is more business? Yeah, but you guys are spending now $50,000 a month. You're spending whatever. Yeah, but look at how much more revenue we're driving. It's like, I know this is for the basketball team, but it's the same. We do this for everybody. We did for California Pizza Kitchen, Domino's, like all these kinds of guys. So whenever we lead with performance, and we can show that the numbers are good, they typically don't care about the rest of whatever. They're like, yeah, I got to go run another meeting. Okay, cool. Well, it's all here if you want to look at it. We're driving the numbers. So there's, as you know, there's a difference between driving the numbers versus like the mechanics of how did we drive the numbers and, investigating CTR and quality score and all that kind of stuff. So we'll lay out the priorities. And then for those, if there's an operator, project manager, whatever on their side, or could be on your side, we say, here's what we are doing. And it's the same checklist for everybody. Here's what we've done, and here's what we, are still going to do, and just some highlights on the performance, right? And they love seeing these numbers. We always put these things in bold to show the really good numbers, right? Facebook, Google, testing out Snapchat, TikTok ads, all that kind of stuff, right? And that way, if they ever want to come in, we make sure we're different because we want clients to be intelligent enough to go in and look at the Google Analytics and log into the Google ads and Facebook ads and like log in and like actually see this. Yeah, this is what's going on. But in case they don't, usually the senior people, then we show them this kind of stuff. And then they love to have a discussion about, well, why is this one better than that one? And people can sort of like make up their assumptions. And I don't really care what they have to say, right? Just allow them to talk. All clients want to be able to pretend to provide feedback on what's going on, but and this is just a template we have. And it just goes on and on. Now, this one's a little more sophisticated because we're testing lots of stuff. We're doing cross-channel. We're selling tickets. There's a stadium involved. There's a huge email list. There's an app. There's lots of things, so we're looking at how many people are crossing over between, and you can do this. It's very easy in Facebook or Google to look at the overlap on these custom audiences, right? And then how many people who are in our email list or do this, go to the next thing. So we're mixing the channels, right? Who have bought a ticket, who haven't bought a ticket, who are season ticket holder, all this stuff, right? And looking at how we're able to engage one channel to another and look at the crossover, right? This is for bigger companies, Joshua. So, but just so you can see, right? And we see like, where is their power? Is it on Facebook? Is it an email list? People have come to the website. And so we're looking at the intersection between all these different audiences, right? This chord chart usually wows the heck out of people because they don't know it's possible to do it, right? Because we'll see like, hey, we got a lot more people on Instagram and YouTube, but not many of these people actually coming to the site or buying a ticket. And then we can then use that as an argument to say, that's great. We're getting more social media, but if the goal is driving sales, then we maybe should not do the shiny objects that you really are talking about. So everything we have is driven off of this 6-phase process that we've been teaching for a long time. Then we go into sponsors, which is like mini clients. So these are like clients of clients, Uber, United Airlines, whatever, because these people sponsors. But we have to show ROI off of that too, right? We show the team we have. But it's the same process we teach and implement every single time. And then let me show you the dashboard thing, dude. What do you guys do with dashboards? I think dashboards are the easiest way to troubleshoot results. And then that naturally ties with project management, right? We use Basecamp, but it's, whatever you want to use.
Yeah, we use ClickUp for task management, but for dashboards, we use agency analytics.
Oh, hey, agency analytics is great.
A lot of what we focus on is our call tracking and listening team because it's all contractors that we work with. So their biggest focus is calls, leads. And then we highlight.
You have a standard dashboard that shows them not just the number of leads, but the number of jobs quoted and the revenue?
We have a different way of doing that. I don't know if you have any familiar because these are home service specific, but there's a company that's figured out how to connect to most of the CRMs through API connections. And essentially they have a web tag, runs through the website, attaches to CallRail, takes the flow all the way through the CRM. So that way they can see open revenue, closed revenue, and sold revenue. Sold means sold but not sold.
What tool is that?
Searchlight Digital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's.
I thought they were an SEO firm.
They were a paid ads company originally, but the guy's dad that started it he got into advertising because his dad was a plumber and just saw how bad some of the stuff was, and so he got into the ad side. They came from the automotive industry, but got into the home service industry through running ads, and their dashboards are pretty powerful. But the problem is, for every client, we have to pay for that. So as we put together our packages, like there's certain packages there's just certain things where as you package together, like you have to take something out to reduce the cost. So
right.
And so we have analytics.
Is this the one? Searchlightdigital.io, $500 a month per ID.
That's their dashboard reporting.
That eats a lot into the. I don't know. Okay.
So they don't get into like any of it's a revenue analytics dashboard. So essentially they're reporting back on some of the stuff that comes through and then what conversion channel. It doesn't get into like SEO, PP. It doesn't get into like the nitty gritty of the campaigns.
Well, why don't you just build your own?
Because I have no idea how to do that.
You can.
That is not my cup of tea.
Okay.
Like,
and you can cobble it together off of Data Studio. If you have all the data, you can pull off of whatever your favorite SEO tools are on Google Analytics and just throw it in Data Studio.
So Data Studio is not my, like I've
Data Studio is just Excel on steroids. It's for people that are scared of database. I'm an actual analytics engineer, so I think that's great, but there's many ways to do it. Yeah.
Well, and so some of that, I feel like there's some just limitations on my side. And of course, I'm sure we can find some higher pay them to, hey, this is my idea put together. I lack the creativity, like create what, because that's always the question. Like I have to drive them to a certain thing and I don't know exactly what I want them to build. So that's really my.
Oh, shoot. That's a 1 hour conversation or writing up a set of requirements saying, here's the dashboard. You come in, see how many calls, how many jobs, how much revenue, trend line showing what the progress has been. Then below that, breaking out by channel. Right.
Yeah. So that's the stuff I don't know how to mix because obviously I know like we have APIs for most of our clients. Because what we have to do is we had to create like an app in the developer portal for like Service Titan, which is the big one.
Sure.
So we have to get some information to connect that. And then of course that goes to their reporting stuff. And we do some stuff with Zapier with it as well. But
okay. Yeah. I mean, if you get all the data in one place and there's APIs, Data Studio, Looker, whatever, is just nothing more than creating charts against it.
If you have any good resources on learning like basics of connecting some of that stuff, I'm not looking for anything super complex right now, just basics of.
Yeah, I can just give you a few things to look at. It's really not here. Let me show you one of I think it would cost you like 10 grand or 20 grand to hire someone to build one of these things. And then it's yours. You don't have to pay a monthly fee. Here's one. Now, this is one of my guys. He's worked for me for the last 16, 17 years full time. I'm always afraid he's going to get poached by Google or one of them, but so I keep paying him more money. But look at this.
Hi, we're going to take a tour of the dashboard. That's the controls, the charts, and the tables. And then we're going to finish up with a practical.
This is law firm, but it's the same thing. The call
So we start with the last updated time indicator. And this will show you the last time the data in the dashboard was updated. And usually it refreshes every 5 to 10 minutes or so. But if you look up here and you see the data is over 15 minutes.
It's all the call data.
Then go ahead and refresh
all the job data, who's answering the phone, the close rate, all that.
Just going up here and clicking refresh data. And then we'll bring in a full, fresh new flow of data for you. The first filter that we have is up here, and this is the date range filter. So this filters all the data coming into the dashboard by date. It gives you a bunch of preset date ranges that you can access here. If you'd like a custom date range, then you can just use fixed. Allows you to choose the start and end of the date range. It defaults right now to last week, starting right here, we have the funnel chart. And what this does, it breaks down all the intakes for the date range period by status. So you have all the open ones from that date range period, and then all the other statuses are compared against that in a funnel. So this gives you an idea of bottlenecks and the general flow of how intakes are moving through the system. These 3 scorecards here keep track of the raw numbers of opened and converted for that date range period. And it also shows you the conversion rate of converted versus opened. Below it, this is the comparison with the previous period. So since this is last week, this compares last week's numbers to the week before that. Okay. Whereas if you had yesterday selected, then we'd be comparing those numbers with the day before
forward. I'll show you the marketing piece, which is cool. Look at this.
And case type. These are all the different possible case types for the intakes during that date range. And you could hit the same.
So are you getting this information from your client thing?
What?
Because some of that, are they giving you that information, or how are you guys working with them to get that?
But we have API access to a dozen different systems. So this dashboard, which is just Looker, right, which is Google.
Yeah, I can tell it's Lookers too, because that's what Searchlight built theirs on.
Yeah.
It looks their
Yeah,
system.
you don't have to be a real engineer to use Looker. This is like lightweight dashboarding. This is not real dash. I'll show you real dashboards are. I'll show you what that looks like. That's when you have all these different systems that are configured in different ways. And Billie Jean. You ever heard of Billie Jean? Billie Jean is marketing. Yeah. So we built his backend. And it's the same thing here. So if you're doing it the right way, then you have all these different systems, right? There's ads and there's data from the website and people are converting, they're not, but there's 3 layers here. So the first layer here is the data source. So this is all the data from all the different places. So the first step is you got to get all the data in one place. Then you apply logic. And the logic could be like, what are the goals, or what's the cost per lead target, or what's, how are you measuring LTV, all these kinds of mechanical calculations done against the data. And then you display it in the UI. So we take all this stuff, all these different systems, and we've built connectors for every one of these because that's what we do. And then we put them into these buckets that are by, how we tune our advertising, or looking at churn, or looking at which jobs cost more, or different products. Or in the case of home services, you have different services that have different margins against it. You're looking at call center performance. Different agents close better than other ones. Different people on the job, they get better reviews or they don't. And so you take all this and then you just stick it into these different dashboards. And before, Billie Jean had 2 people full-time, and all they did was manually process the stuff in these sheets. Called me and complained and said, I need a dashboard because I just manually, I don't even know it's profitable or not. I spend, $800,000 a month on ads, and I don't even know, like, is it profitable? I mean, how's my churn doing? If the churn's high, then I'm actually losing money, but maybe it's profitable and I should spend more money. And so we integrated all these other systems to follow up or text people, or, the credit card failed, or all these things, predictive on LTV and future revenue, automatically categorizing ads by UTM parameters and putting them in different buckets so we can associate cost and revenue. I'm really proud of this. Only a geek's really proud of stuff like this. But, like here, like these naming conventions, they have to name things the right way so our system associates revenue and cost. Now this starts to get more complicated, right?
Yeah.
But either way, it's the same thing. Like this thing I'm showing you here, or where was it? This thing here, like you've got the different people that are answering the phone, and we can see how much revenue they're doing by different cases. Now with PI, you have some cases like wrongful death that's worth, millions. And then you have like fender benders that are worth 10 grand. So they want to make sure the right things go to the right way, right places. Some of these cases get referred out because they're for various reasons. So we just have all this here. You click on these people. You can click on them and it
keeps track of all the activity over the course of that date range, depending on the time dimension you have selected. So right now, it's selected by 1 day, which makes sense.
I'll go forward here. You can see a little more.
Now here we have bar charts that break down all the intake activity by type, source, and by owner. And each of the
actual cases are below. Every single case, every lead is below.
The opened intakes, the converted intakes, and the conversion percentage. So this one here is all the types that all the open.
Then we go to a particular agent. You can see that all the stuff regenerates, or look at just PPC or whatever we
use it. Let's say we go to the last business day that has a full day of data. So we go to last Friday. So let's do fixed. And it's going to be start on the 16th and end on the 16th, for example. The data resets.
See, this looks real sexy. See all the data.
And here we have in the time series, since it's by day, you just get that full day's data in one segment there. We're going to adjust it to hour at the time dimension control here. And now you see it by the hour. So each hour is by military time, Pacific Daylight Time, and you can see the activity over the course of the day. The opened intakes the converted intakes, and the conversion
You
percent.
see who answers the calls. You can see the cases below. You can see like all that kind of stuff. It's the same thing, right? Every client wants to see the same thing, where you show them the overall number up here, and then below you have all the data you just have pulled in from these different places, and then they know they can't rebuild these systems. They know they don't have expert. So whenever you offer multiple services, so if you offer just SEO, then like whatever, but if you're offering SEO and Google ads and Facebook ads and LSA and whatever, then there's many things, and they can see that these things together drive their business, and they're never going to leave you because they can't replace all those things if you're a full service agency.
Yeah. And so that, it's funny because I started when I was on the contractor side, I got really good at through my business and focused on that. And that's what we were talking about. And that's kind of how we started got our first 30, 40 clients, just doing that.
Yeah.
And I realized to be more sticky, we kind of need to get into websites and stuff like that, because website companies were offering GMB services for like free to just kick us out. And so we've slowly added things over the last 3.5 years since we started. But the paid ad side is something that I have never gotten into.
But you're just like the SEO and website and the organic stuff.
SEO, website, LSA, and maps. We obviously put a heavy emphasis on maps because that's where most local homeowners are going to make a purchase, right? There's a very good amount. And we haven't put much emphasis on the paid side. One, because I've never done a ton with paid. So it's just been like something I don't. Why not
just do like the most obvious, highest ROI thing, like remarketing? I mean, these are people who've already come to the site and remarket the heck out of them, right, on Google and Facebook. That's no brainer.
Because I don't know enough about that. We are getting set up like now remarketing from people that they've seen, meaning customers, open estimates, members.
Remarketing, you've already paid to acquire them. You've already talked to them. They've already watched, come to the website. They've already seen whatever your content somewhere. They've opened an email somewhere. Like that's the easiest money. That's an extra 10 or 20% of revenue, right? Just by squeezing more of what you have.
My problem is I don't know where to find people that are good, and I don't know how to trust them because I don't know if they're good.
You don't. There's no one out there who's any good. You have to train them.
Yeah, well, that's.
And you have to
I could do a deep dive because I usually like to try to figure out how things work anyways if we add something, but then that's a rabbit hole I go into for a few months to figure out. So that's probably where some of my issues come in. It's like, what makes sense for us. And
you're starting from the most valuable sticky place, which is the website and SEO.
Yeah.
Clear revenue, clearly they can see that it's working. They can Google it. All the SEO tools allow you to send out reports that show that it's working. So I'm thinking, if I were you, what is the, if you add another service, what's the thing that's easy to add, is not difficult to do, and has clear ROI? I would think it's remarketing of different forms.
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of website traffic, and obviously there's only so much that converts, right? So,
but if it's already converting, you're going to get an extra 10 or 20% more on what's already there, right? It's just, that's what remarketing is. It's just getting more out of what's more efficiency. It's not trying to find new leads or something.
Yeah. And these are the things that's why.
It costs almost nothing, because remarketing, and that's the whole $1 a day concept was born around remarketing. Because you don't have a ton of website traffic. You can't even spend $20 a day if you wanted to.
That was the other thing I was going to ask you about, because one, we've gotten to this point mostly through referrals and word of mouth in the last 3 years.
Right.
I realized we got to start feeding the beast a little bit with get ourselves out there in other channels and ads and stuff like that, which is probably prompting this whole thing here. I saw your $1 a day thing. Do you have a course on that or something, or a book?
Yeah, we have a course. I give it away to everyone in 7FA. And the course is self-paced, and you can go through all the lessons and whatnot. I'm sure you'll squeeze all the juice out of that one. But we have a coaching program too, where we offer help, and our team will help you, and you get help from me.
Okay.
So, either way, happy to give you whatever it is, all of our training, all of our SOPs. I think $1 a day is just so obvious, especially for the growth of anyone who's hit 7 figures and they have to start to build their brand and awareness and that kind of thing.
That's where I feel like we still get. So I know when people post in these groups and are looking for help, because all of a sudden our sales counter fills up and we recommendations and stuff, but it's not consistent. And we're getting to the point where we have to start getting that consistency and having a certain number of appointments every month and all that kind of stuff. And that's where I want to start running some ads, which of course opens up once we see if that's working for us. It's like, oh, well, maybe we should do this for clients and start offering it. So
Well, I think what's good for the goose is good for the geese. I'm a big fan of demonstrate it works for yourself, like the hair club for men or whatever. And then
I've always focused on SEO and content for us, content marketing. It's worked. It's always worked.
Yeah.
We're getting to the point now. It's like we need something else. By us needing something else, proving that it's working, finding a system that works for us, how to track it, all that kind of stuff. So you said that, is that in their UpCoach program, or where I get access
I'm not
to?
sure what's been uploaded, but we can just give you
or if you have a link that has the 7FA thing so they get credit for it or whatever.
there's no credit. We're not selling it. It's just free. So there's no credit to give anybody. Okay. So you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Go to here, this $1 a Day Academy, and I'll paste this link in Zoom here. Join that group, and then message operations@blitzmetrics.com and mention $1 a day, and then you will get access to this group, and you'll see there's lots of stuff in here. And then we have this academy, and there's like 137 courses in here. The ones that you'll want are $1 a day and digital plumbing, these two. But just message operations and say, I want the $1 a day course, and I want the digital plumbing course.
Operations at
blitzmetrics.com. And then they will go in there and unlock these for you for free.
Okay, awesome. I'll get that email finished up and start there. And obviously, once I get approved with the group, I'll start checking that stuff out.
Yeah. And $1 a day is only as good as the content you run. So if you've got some interviews with other home service agency people or other, with Tommy Mello or these other folks, then I would $1 a day that. We
just did one with him today, actually.
Okay.
Very ironic. Yeah.
You know what to do with that, right? When you have figurehead content. So
yeah,
we got a Lighthouse.
Yeah, our podcast we got a team that like clips all that stuff up and stuff like that. We actually just passed our 1 millionth download like 2 or 3 days ago, which was pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so we got plenty of clip. We got lots of stuff. It's making that stuff make more money for us.
Why aren't you sure? Why is this why don't you have a knowledge panel? Because there's this baseball player.
That's not me. I mean, not unless I got my high school stats, which probably weren't very good.
Prison guy, that's not you. Fantasy sports, population health management, that's not you. You don't work at Kaiser Permanente. You go more by Josh or Joshua Crouch?
Joshua.
Who are these other people? I can't even find you. Is anyone?
There's a lot of us. Apparently, I'm a pretty good baseball player too.
Dang, you're like Bo Jackson, where you can play football and baseball and run an agency and hit the pitches, throw the ball. Okay, this is someone else, huh?
Yeah, that's some baseball. I have no idea. It's been a long time since I've Googled myself.
He's not guilty to murdering his girlfriend.
That's not you.
That's not you.
I'm a wrestler too, apparently.
Okay, well, for all the stuff you have, we should optimize for your name at the same time, right?
Yeah, I did the training with Lane and David about the eat. There's some stuff that we have to clean up on our end. I gave it to our SEO lead to start creating like an SOP. We start with us, and then of course bring it down to clients, stuff like that too. But
yeah,
something more we got to do to raise the authority and trustworthiness of some of the stuff we're doing.
Yeah. If you have a book or you have other stuff, I have a bunch of sites that are DR70 plus that are my sites.
Okay. I don't yet.
Like my free book site, I've got 1 million visitors a month to this one. And it's a DR74. It's been around forever. So these are millions of legit links that have been around for a long time. There's nothing gray here at all. And even, like Blitz is DR 60 something, and I don't even do anything with it. What is it, like a 64, something like that? But yeah, if you want to publish a guest article here or any of the sites that I have, obviously if you have the authority to do that, and I'll give you legitimate links.
Sure.
Three do follow links that point to whatever you want.
Sure. Well, I appreciate the.
That's the most legit way to do SEO, right? Guest blog posts that you're actually sharing something to a community that actually wants to, because a lot of digital marketers and entrepreneurs follow me.
Yeah.
So I think the engagement would be good, and Google would see that, and it would help my SEO, because Google is, looking more at the engagement of people on the page as opposed to just like link juice, right?
Right. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, this has been great, Dennis. I'm glad because like I said, I've seen you around and just never really, you see people in these groups. I'm like, who are they really? Like, I don't know. So you start researching, and of course, like, I think I actually ran into you from that post because Brian Davis
has got some problems. I hope he overcomes them.
Yeah, I'm really surprised, but I guess I don't know him that well. So I've talked to him once, and because he's kind of in the home service space, but different industries, and it's just weird that people do. They get very defensive if it's their site, because they think it's like someone's attacking them and stuff, and all you're trying to do is help.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even know that was Ryan Davis's client. These people reach out to me all the time, for better or worse, right? There's so many people that reach out.
Sure, they're just looking for help, and then it is what it is. But he definitely didn't need to show a pretty poor leadership by the way he came across. Like, that was cringeworthy. But it helped me cross paths with you, so I appreciate that.
Hey, well, everything happens for a reason.
That's right, and I try to take that and try to find people way smarter than me and just pick their brain.
Well, there's a lot I can learn from you, so you're super humble.
I don't know about that.
I'm just an analytics guy.
Yeah. But awesome. Well, I'll finish up this email and get that over to there, and then look for stuff from you guys.
Cool. And just holler if there's any kind of question, anything our team can do for you. Happy to help. I mean, it costs me nothing to give you access to all of our stuff, whatever we can do. Or your team members, they want access to stuff. Happy to help.
Okay. Sounds good, Dennis. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, good chatting. I'll see you around.
All right. Take it easy.